We're going to deal with the story about Jericho, about Gilgal, about Bethel, about two men, Elijah and Elijah, how these two prophets come together when Elijah is about to be taken up into the whirlwind. Now, what's significant about this story is in 2 Kings chapter 2, verse 1 through 18, Elijah is hearing from God. Elijah realized that today my master is going to be taken up. Let me just go ahead and give you the scripture so we can just grab a little bit of a foundation to the story. And it came to pass when the Lord would take up Elijah into heaven by a whirlwind, that Elijah went with Elijah from Gilgal. Now, as we dissect this story, they're going to go to different places. You're going to get the secret message that's hidden. Oh, let me tell you again now. The secret message that is hidden. Now, why is this a big deal? Well, God don't just do things. It's always done around one of his timelines, his feasts, his festivals. Most people don't know that because they don't even know his festivals, his feasts. But we're going to deal with this one here today. I'm not going to do a lot of reading. I'm going to tell you a story. I'm going to point things out in the story. Well, first they leave Gilgal. What is significant about Gilgal? Well, we understand the children of Israel, that's where they encamped for Passover. That's where they were circumcised. That's where they took the 12 stones from the Jordan River that they stopped up, that the Lord stopped up, and they walked on dry ground, the same way the children of Israel did in the Red Sea. Or we're talking about the secret message that was hidden. Now, Gilgal, that we understand, it means 12 stones. It means circumcision, which is blood. It means covenant. It means Passover, and it means that 12 stones that were taken from the Jordan River. But the main concept is separation. I said, whoa. I said, okay, Lord, you got a message. When the Lord showed me this in a dream, he says, I want you to understand, whenever you come to me, there's going to have to be separation. The world, as you know it, is no longer going to be your friend. There are people that you have associated with you will no longer need to associate with. What is the separation significance? Well, when the children of Israel left bondage, they had to understand that the old you, the old way of thinking, got to be cut off. Because I'm about to take you into the promised land, your land. Oh, let me tell you something now. We talk about secret message that was hidden. But why was it hidden? That's the God we serve. He said, I'm not going to make it plain. I'm going to make it plain to my believers with my spirit. So they go from Gilgal to Bethel. Now, I'm going to help y'all out a little bit. And when I saw this, it blew me away. Well, Gilgal is right next to the Jordan River. So don't miss that now. That makes sense. They brought the stones up into Gilgal to set up a memorial for when the children of Israel came there. Now, why is this significant? Because unlike the average person, they don't really pay attention to locations like this. Me, I pay attention. So to go from Gilgal to Bethel, it's like having a car and driving 50 miles an hour for many hours. But if you look at it in the biblical sense, it's all of this is happening in one day. And it is. But what most people don't realize is they're being transported from one place to the other. They're moving in the spirit, so they're in Gilgal now, and maybe 10 minutes or 2 minutes later, they're in Bethel. It's impossible to get there in a day's time walking. It's impossible to get there in a day's time on a mule or a horse. Now, y'all listen to me. I'm going to go ahead and keep going. Because when you start understanding that, you understand the significance of it. But no matter what, you cannot do it on foot in that short period of time. Not in a day. Not on the whole trip that they're showing. Now, the second place we're going to deal with is Bethel. What the name Bethel means is house of God. No, I didn't name it. Jacob named it. Why did he call it the house of God? Because he realized when he was going to Syria, he stopped there. And he had to sleep because it was night. And when he put the stone under his head, he dreamed. He saw a spiritual dream. He saw the angel of the Lord ascending and descending from heaven to earth. From heaven to earth. What was significant about that? He said it has to be the house of God. Now, the fact that he saw the angel of the Lord going back and forth, he was seeing Jesus. Just like Abraham saw Jesus, just like Isaac saw Jesus. But they saw him as the angel of the Lord. But they knew he was the Lord because they all give reverence. Now, hold on now. We ain't finished with that now. I want you to hear this now. Which is the house of Eli, which is also the stairway to heaven. That's why I have no doubt in my mind heaven is right above Bethel. Woo. That's why it says heaven's going to come down to earth. It's coming down into a place. I don't think heaven got an engine and is flying all around. It's a place. That's why I call it the third heaven. Bethel, house of God. So he goes from separation. Now, what is he teaching us in this word? How people come to God. And then they come to the presence of God. That's why I'm always trying to stay in the presence of God. Why? Because it's a beautiful place to be. Now, I know you're saying to yourself, go ahead, now. Work this thing. All right, hold on then. We're talking about the secret message that was hidden. Then they go to Jericho. Now, when they go to Bethel, there are 50 prophets there. Now, don't miss that now. There are 50 prophets there. We're talking about the secret message that's hidden. Now, why is it 50 prophets? Because 50 is Pentecost. Oh, don't miss that now. 50 is Pentecost. Then they go to Jericho. Guess what's there? 50 prophets. When they were leaving Gilgal, guess what's there? 50 prophets. Now I know you're saying to yourself, man, I ain't never heard this before. Don't worry about it. It was secret message that was hidden. So then they get to Jericho, and Jericho means moon or city of palm. But why is that important? Because the children of Israel had to learn to walk in faith. When the children of Israel, after circumcision, Passover, they marched around Jericho, which is on a hill. And the Lord told them, march around once a day. They march around, they went back and rest. In camp is what they call it. They don't say a word, not one word. They do that the next day. They go back and rest. They do it again. They go back and rest. Now, the people are wondering, are they coming to fight or they just coming to play? After the sixth time of them doing that, they go back and rest. Now, I know you're saying to yourself, And Pastor, this stuff here is some good. But why was they just marching around it one day? Because the Lord said so. I don't know. I'm just telling you the story. But now guess what? He said on the seventh day, though. He said march around it how many times? We're coming around 6 times. But when you hit that 7th time, he says scream when you hear what? The trumpet. Why is that a big deal? Because the Lord coming back on the 7th trumpet. Come on. We know that's September. We understand that. That's the word. But now, why is this a big deal? Because the children of Israel had to learn to walk by faith. But whenever you're following God, you got to learn to walk by faith. So all these 3 sets of prophets was constantly telling Elijah, you know the Lord's going to take Elijah today. Yeah, I know, but hold your peace. You know the Lord's taking your master Elijah today. Yes, but keep your peace. You know the Lord is taking your prophet. Remember, they are prophets also. You know the Lord is taking Elijah, your master, today. Yes, keep your peace. Why? Because he had made an agreement. Nothing is going to separate us. Now you're getting to the understanding of the message. So when now they leave Jericho, they go to the Jordan River, and Elijah strike the water with his mantle. Now, here's the beautiful part. The water parted thither and thither. It separates. It's not going nowhere, though. It's hovering. Now, I know you're saying to yourself, the water's just hovering as a wall on both sides of them. And they're walking between the water. What is happening? We're talking resurrection, the death and the resurrection of Christ. And he's showing us because they're walking between the water. I know you're saying to yourself, man, this is good. Well, the children of Israel did the exact same thing. When they went through the Red Sea, they was getting baptized into the death and the resurrection of Christ. Now, I know you're saying to yourself, man, this is some good stuff. Oh, hold on. We're going somewhere now. We're talking about the secret message that was hidden. I said, Lord, why are you showing me this? He said, because I called you. And I'm going to show you things other people can't see. So as Elijah and Elijah, their name is exactly the same letters, except for Elijah has a J. And Elijah, I want you to get this down, have an S. It's Elijah and Elisha. It just flip the A and the H on the name. Now, I know you say to yourself, why? But it's only 6 letters apiece. And usually, it's never 6 letters. It's usually 5. Jesus 5. Moses 5. And so I'm wondering, and I said, okay, Lord, why 6? He said, because 6 and 6 is 12. 12 represents the 12 tribes of Israel. 12 represents the 12 disciples. 12 represents the women with the issue of blood for 12 years. 12 represents Jairus' daughter for 12 years. 12 represents Jesus when he gets now his bar mitzvah, when he's now acknowledging his knowledge with the doctors, these theologians. So they're crossing the Jordan River. They're going through death and resurrection of Christ. The water stopped flowing down because that's what Jordan means, the flowing down of water. But now watch the word. So now, watch this, because this is where it's powerful at. Elijah is getting ready to be taken up. But he says something. He says something that most people never really pay attention to what's happening. He says, what do you want? Whoa. He wasn't asking for anything. He's acknowledging all of these years you've been my servant. I'm about to go now. what do you want? And you know, I don't know about you, but I would have to think about that for a while. But Elijah doesn't even hesitate. He said, I want a double portion of your spirit. What? How do you get a double portion? You know who Elijah was? Elijah was the one on Mount Carmel who called down fire from heaven. Elijah was the one who was on Mount Carmel who called down rain. Come on, man. This man is heavy. You want a double portion of his spirit? Yes. The secret message that's hidden. What was he saying? He was saying, I've seen what you can do, but I want to do twice as much as you do. Well, that's heavy. Now, he says, okay. Now, watch what he says. Okay. If you could see me go to heaven. Now, watch this now. Because, see, most people miss that. I've never heard nobody even teach on it. He didn't just say, if you can see me leave. He said, if you can see me go up to heaven. Now, what he's saying is, yes, it's going to be a flash in a moment where I'm going to be going in the whirlwind. But you got to watch. You have to have a spiritual eyes, so the Lord have to give this to you that you can see me going through the whirlwind to heaven. Whoa. Okay, think about don't miss that now. He had to see his spiritual eyes and see him all the way to heaven. Why is that a big deal? For one, you can't do it in the natural. Two, the Lord has to intervene to show him what's happening. So once the separation happens, the firing chariots and the horsemen, which is really the cherubims, once they separate them two, now he has to watch. With all this commotion going on, he cannot focus on the chariot of Israel. He must focus on Elijah being taken up. Now, I don't know if I can do that now. I'm seeing this magnificent flying chariot with these horsemen, and I got to look in the whirlwind. Oh, that's powerful. But he had to do that. Now, we talk about secret message that's hidden. Now, my question was, is it the Passover? This had to happen at a specific time. Or was it Pentecost? Now, I know you're saying to yourself, well, Pastor, why are you looking at those two? He said the Spirit reveals things of God. Well, I know it wasn't trumpets, because that didn't make sense. I know it wasn't booths. I know it wasn't tabernacle. I know it wasn't unleavened bread. I know it was the first fruits. So the only two it could be is Passover and Pentecost. And the reason it took me from Passover to Pentecost is because of Spirit. This is a spiritual move. This is a spiritual connection. 50 prophets. 50 is Pentecost. 50 days after resurrection was Pentecost. And he showed us 53 times. That's why I think this had to happen on Pentecost. But why is that a big deal? Because I understand the Lord doesn't do anything on just an ordinary day. He didn't translate Elijah and Elijah from place to place just so he can pick a day. That's just not God. I understand most people ain't going to know that, but I do. The secret message that's hidden. So I'm going through and I'm watching all of these things. And I said, okay, Lord, your message is when I grab a hold of you, there's going to be a separation. I got it. The old me changed. There's going to be a change. I got it. That's why it was circumcision, because you're going to have to make a covenant. I got that. Bethel is the house of God because you want to get in his presence. I got that. That's great stuff. I got to walk by faith. I got to do things that the average person ain't going to do because I know I'm hearing from you. I know you're taking me in a different direction. I got that also. But I got that last part where I says, okay, I got to trust you to move when you're telling me to move. Elijah and Elijah had to move from place to place, not according to their will, according to God's purpose. Ooh, that's heavy. That's heavy. And when you start understanding that, you say to yourself, okay, Lord, I'm walking in faith now. Okay, Lord, I've had the separation from the friends I used to have. Okay, Lord, I want to be in your presence constantly. Okay, Lord, I know I have to walk by faith. But I'm also expecting a chariot move. I'm also expecting a whirlwind. I'm expecting you to move because you have to. You have hidden your words telling me, okay, now when you start operating at this level, I expect me to move. I expect me to start changing some things. I expect me to turn some things upside down. Because a whirlwind, everything is all over the place. But guess what? It's still calm in the middle. Whoa! And sometime around you, everything is all out of whack. But guess what? It's calm in the middle. It's just like a hurricane. All a hurricane is a big whirlwind. The winds are spinning and turning, and that's why a tornado is a bigger whirlwind, but not a hurricane. My goodness. In the middle is always calm. Isn't that God? Isn't that his understanding? You see, yes, things all around you can be going crazy, but come to me. This is where calmness is. So when he was showing me in the dream, I was like, I didn't never know it was this much to this story. He said, yes, it is. But I've given it to you for your understanding. This happened on Pentecost, a spiritual day, a spiritual movement for a spiritual understanding. I hope you enjoy hearing the word of God. We're talking about secret message that was hidden.